Welcome back, everybody. As you can see, there's a Ford Explorer ST behind me, and the lighting's probably not the greatest. I'm not sure how this is going to look yet, but the black blob on the floor is a upgraded Charge air cooler. This Explorer was on the channel before. I did the axle disconnect and the oil pan and some other stuff while I had it. It's my top view video. I'm pretty sure the part 2 is my top second, so I think the Explorer video is my top 2 videos on my channel. But now we're back for some upgrades. Charge air cooler, get rid of the small factory one, and I'm pretty sure, I've never done this before, but I'm pretty sure from what I've seen that I think the end tanks on the factory one are plastic. This one's all metal. It has full exhaust on it now, and it's tuned, and he's going to change some things. They're going to get some things changed on the tune, so this is one of those reasonings. We're going to better Charge air cooler. I got spark plugs, purge valve to do, which is just kind of maintenance, boring stuff. And then apparently in the rear of these cars, I've always heard this noise, but didn't know that that was an actual problem or something. I figured it was just something they did. They make a clicking in the rear. So you take the rear axle nuts off, you clean up some rust and stuff if there is any on the hub face and the splines and stuff, and then you put a new nut back on and torque it to I'll have to look it up, I don't remember. It's 220 some foot-pounds. But the main part of this whole video is a Charge air cooler. I've never done one, about to learn, but pretty much you take the front bumper off, and there it is, and you do it. You put it in, and then you put the bumper back on. I'm doing this over here on my quick jacks and my flat bay, because I feel like it'd be easier to be at the top and the bottom, and it's easier to reach everything when it's only 2 feet off the ground, and I can roll under it with a creeper and get the bottom stuff when I need to, and my 2-post is tied up at the moment with a Mustang. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn together. Obviously, just nuts and bolts and things come off, but I've never installed one of these, so I'm sure there's going to be some tweaking. Now, to talk about this one, it's an eBay one. Rumor has it, it's very similar, if not the same, to the Mishimoto one. It just doesn't have the label on the box. I don't know. There were some issues with it, though, he pointed out. I'll go over those before I install it. And with the hardware they send you, and I'll show you what he came up with and what we're going to do, and we're going to see how it works. So, let's get to work. as you can see from the B-roll footage, moments before this clip, factory charge air cooler is out. Pieces everywhere. You have to take off a lot more than I thought you were going to, but it's kind of easy because it comes off in big chunks. But I'll give you the rundown. I already did the plugs, the purge valve, the axle stuff. I kind of knocked that out off camera, which I struggled with that too. Apparently today's not my day. But I'll show you how to take the bumper off, step by step, what to look for. There was a couple little things that I didn't catch right away, and I was kind of confused at first. So I'll show you every nut and bolt that I took out, and then I'll show you the difference between the factory and the aftermarket charge air cooler, and then some things that the owner did to help me out, which is kind of great. This is like one of the customers you want to have. He thinks of things beforehand and tries to have everything ready to where I just put the parts on. But in a couple seconds, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I'm going to pick you up, walk you around, and give you the rundown of what happened. So, step one, take the bumper off. So you have, there's a bulkhead connector down here. This is, hold on, passenger side. Camera connector. This is for your front washer nozzle. Apparently they had a front washer nozzle. Didn't know these cars had that. And recommendations, clamp the hose off. If not, as you probably saw in the B-roll footage, you'll get sprayed with washer fluid and it continues to drip. Driver's side, another one big bulkhead connector. And that's kind of easy. Over here on the side, you got the connector for the parking sensors. The fender flare thing here stays with the bumper. Then you just take off. There's a bunch of 10s across the top here. There's a bunch of 7s here for the wheel liner and push pins. And then I took the entire belly pan off the bottom. There's a bunch of 7s down there. These two right here. So, now that this is out of the way, I can show you. They come up through here. So you got to bend the fender liner out of the way, get up in here, and take these out. I struggle with these. They're little 10mm bolts. But, as you can see here, might be, you can kind of see it. Ford puts 72 pounds of Loctite on everything. I get it, holds the bolt, you don't want it to come loose, blah, blah, blah. But it's a front bumper, it's gonna come off. People crash cars, things happen. Or they wanna go fast and do modifications. I had a 1/4-inch Milwaukee ratchet on it and struggled. I had to do some of it by hand to get the Loctite loose and then everything. But then we have the headlights off down there. That's the trim that goes around the grill shutter stuff. That was an extra piece on top. So, once bumper's out of the way, you start looking at it like the headlights come off after the bumper's out. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, if I'm counting correctly, 5 bolts that hold each headlight on, 10mm. Now this thing. This contraption was goofy. So you got to take, there's 4 13s here, and I thought this came off separate. It doesn't, it stays there. And then there's a bunch of 10s down here across the bottom, a couple 10s up top. But the nice thing is I started unplugging each and every sensor and crash sensor and everything else. Oh, and then you got to break the intake tube loose from the tube over here that goes to the air box. Because if you don't, it'll make you angry. But the good news is Ford actually did something smart. There's a bulkhead connector down here, driver's side, one of the swoop connectors. Unplug that. Another one that goes right here. It's held in with like a little retainer right here. You unplug this, pull it down and under and out, and then that entire wiring harness, which you can kind of see, here's some of it. Oh, and then you unplug the boost pressure sensor off the side of the charge air cooler. I didn't do that, and I started to pull it off and realized this was still connected. So don't forget that connector. And it just pulls right off. It's kind of nice. And then you get to this. So for the charge air cooler, the factory one bolt here, 8mm. And then there's like a pushing lock tab. Oh, I forgot. This. It's kind of nice. So it's going to be really hard for you to see. Hold on. Let me try to get some light in this joint. There we go. There's a weird shadow now. So you have to push these sides in because this piece slides into the grill shutter assembly. So I can't pick it up because this cross member's in the way and I'm not trying to break anything. But there's 2 tabs. You can kind of see right here a little bit. You push it squeeze both sides, and then it kind of like slides out of a groove. It's on both sides. It's kind of neat. And then with the factory charge air cooler, there's a push that goes in here and locks it in. You just got to lean it forward and then lift up. These hoses are always tough to get off. So I try to get like a screwdriver in there and work it around to break it loose. And then this one, I like twisted and got it to break loose. And then this side I got off too as well. That's the gist of it. I mean, bunch of bolts, about 400 million bolts to get the front end off, but we're here. So now it's time to test fit the new one. Oh, speaking of this, let me give you the angle here. There you go. That's the difference. First the guy tells you not to worry about. If you don't like that meme, oh well, get over it. So here's the bad part of this entire kit. So they give you this. It's the piece that goes on the bottom, and then there's slots on the front subframe or whatever that this slides into. Well, as I said in the beginning, this is like an eBay one. Well, name brand things don't always work out, so they give you this rod. If I remember correctly, he said this is 12175. The piece they give you that you're supposed to thread in here, that's adjustable because you got to adjust Butterfingers. I told you, everything's been a struggle. It's 12150 if I remember you would say correctly. They don't thread together. You can't make them thread together because you're supposed to thread this in here, adjust it, and then this goes down here in the bottom, and you take this little 6mm bolt and you thread it in there, and that's how you hold it. Well, you can't take two different threads, put them together. It doesn't work. So, like I said, the owner thinks things through. He made my life easier. He got a piece all thread, 12175. We're going to thread this in here. That weird glare, sorry. Thread that in there and then use the lock nut as like a jam nut to lock it in place. And then we're going to put another nut on here like this to rest it on. And then you slide that in there, and then he has other nuts that go on top, and then that's the adjustable. That's literally the only thing we had to do differently for this charge air cooler. That's the only problem he's seen so far. Oh, they give you bolts for the sensor on the side, the boost pressure sensor. Apparently, from what he read, the ones they get you are too short, so he got me longer ones. So we'll deal with that then. He had to egg out these holes a little bit to get the 12175 to fit, right? That piece, whatever. So, yeah, let's get her test fitted. Well, as you can see, the new one's on. Fitment wasn't perfect at first, and then I realized it was me being me. So on the factory one, on the radiator, there's 2 slots that the factory one slides into. Well, this one only has one on that side, but not this side. This side kind of just sits there. So you have the 8mm here, and then you have these rods down here that we had to lock nut. We changed them up a little bit. They work perfectly. A little plastic washer sits there. There's already a hole there, so you don't have to drill anything. The only other thing that was horrible is I put some stuff back here. There's 2 bolts that come in this way on the bottom of this that go through, like the AC condenser already has a hole in it, and they go through. They kind of stink. And then these pieces, these foam pieces, had like a piece that stick up, and since this is so big, I just cut it off to make it look nicer and fit better, so it's not like sitting there doing this. But there she is. Not going to bore you with putting the bumper back on and everything else because you kind of already had it comes off. So let's get this car back together, fully buttoned up, and take her for a rip. Make sure everything's okay. Well, see behind me? Explorer's back together. Good to go. I fault everything on this one. That's the way it goes sometimes. It is what it is. Part of the business. I've been doing this long enough that I understand that not everything goes as smoothly as you planned. But plugs are done, purge valves installed, the rear axle nuts cleaned, lubed, everything's retorqued with a new nut, and charge air cooler installed. Good to go. So the owner of this, when he gets it back, they contact our tuner and get a different tune. That was the whole point of this. But these are fun cars. I'd like to own one myself. Trying to get my woman to let me buy her one. She tells me just go buy it, she'll drive it, but we really don't need it. We're trying to do other things in life, buy a different house, possibly me of my own business. So buying another car that we don't really need at the moment is not on the table as much as I'd love to. But anyway, ending it off here. If you need your Explorer ST built, let me know. I'll do it. Hit me up. Bolt-ons. I'll even build 10 speeds. I don't have the tools yet, but as soon as a couple people want their 10 speeds rebuilt or built to handle more power, I will invest in tools myself. But I'm not buying those tools just to sit in a corner and never use them. So if you need anything, GM, Ford related, hit me up. I'll get you taken care of. If not, I know a bunch of people in this area, in this industry, that can help you out. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'm trying to get back to it. And thanks for sticking through the struggle. Take care.